So, as we've already covered, Lil Zay Osama and the other suspects were caught, and the evidence against them is hard to ignore. Hotel camera footage before the home invasion, McDonald's surveillance at 2 in the morning, phone records placing them near the property, devices linked to a stolen vehicle, and allegedly, one suspect even handed his phone over to federal investigators hoping to shave time off his sentence. Now, here's where it gets interesting. This is someone who has walked away from serious charges multiple times, weapons found, a switch recovered, and somehow still a free man. At some point, you have to ask the question, how does that keep happening? How do you escape consequences that many times unless you're providing something valuable to someone? That's just my read on it. Can't prove it, it's all allegedly, but something about this situation has never added up. Either way, this time looks different. With this level of evidence stacked against him, if he walks again, I genuinely don't know what to say. Something strange is going on there. Moving on, Drake and 40. How involved is Noah 40's Shabib actually going to be on this next album? We've watched the dynamic shift over the years. There was a time when 40 was practically living in the studio with Drake, and the music from that era, that's widely considered some of Drake's best work, partly because 40 has always been someone who tells him the truth. 40 will tell Drake straight up what's not working and what needs to be fixed. He doesn't have to produce every track to be valuable. His real worth is being an honest voice in the room, someone who pushes back, not someone who just nods along. That's rare, and Drake has had that from the very beginning, before the beginning really. But the reality is that 40 is dealing with a serious health condition. It has limited what he's physically able to do. He can't lock in on the road the way he used to, and nobody outside their circle fully knows where things stand with him right now. So the question becomes, is Drake going to him? Is Drake sitting in the studio, putting in the focused work the way they used to? Or is Drake too caught up on the road, too distracted by everything else pulling at his attention? Because based on recent output, it feels like the latter. 40 has still been involved in some capacity on the last few projects, but it's not the same level of involvement, and the quality of Drake's music has reflected that shift. Now, add another layer to this. Drake is going up against Lucian Grange and has an open dispute with his own label. That changes everything about what this next project needs to be. The music can't just be good, it has to be undeniable, strong enough to cut through any internal resistance, any label politics, any attempt to quietly suppress it. It sounds dramatic, but we've seen this play out before. Just look at what 50 Cent went through with his label situation. When an artist is at war with the machine behind them, the music either rises to meet the moment or it doesn't. And some labels will do exactly what they did to Jules Santana, just let an artist fall off completely rather than compromise. That's what happened when he had his situation with Jay-Z and Def Jam. Some labels would rather take the financial hit than back down. They'll lose money just to win the argument. But Drake is a different conversation. He's still gonna move numbers regardless. The label knows that. So something will happen. What exactly? That's the part nobody can predict right now. The last project was the collab album with Party Next Door, and because of that, Sony had a hand in it. That made the situation a little more flexible. This time around is different. Drake is largely going to have to carry this one on his own and figure out how to get it out without the usual infrastructure behind him. Then there's the Joe Budden angle. Budden has been vocal about Drake for a while now, and he's gotten some things wrong along the way. The Steak situation is a good example. The claim was that Steak was paying for streams, which doesn't really hold up when you think about it. Steak has no real incentive to do that. It reads more like someone saw an opportunity to come after Steak financially, and adding Drake's name to it made the story too big to ignore. Now on top of all that, Budden and Academics are beefing. Ac has been critical of Budden, Budden has called him out publicly, and now there's open tension between the two of them. The issue with Joe Budden is the inconsistency. One day, the Drake rollout for Iceberg is childish and poorly thought out. The next day, it's actually kinda genius. That flip happens with no explanation. And that's the problem. If you change your mind, just say so, own it. Say I was wrong, I see it differently now. Don't just quietly shift your position and act like you never said the opposite. That's what loses people's trust.
On a separate note, that woman who appeared in the Churchill Downs video alongside Drake and Jack Harlow had people doing double takes. A lot of folks thought she was the same mystery woman photographed with Fabulous recently. Turns out they're two different people. From what it looks like, she's a businesswoman based in Kentucky with multiple ventures, and given the Derby connection, it makes sense she'd be in that world. Fabulous was at the event, they ended up in the same section, and people ran with the dating narrative. Most likely they just crossed paths, nothing more to it. Then there's the Crip Mac and Christopher Lovejoy situation, which 100 Uni has now weighed in on.
Here's what actually happened. Vlad forgot to arrange security for Crip Mac's appearance and needed someone last minute. He reached out and Christopher Lovejoy, who does security work, got the call and showed up. The problem is that Crip Mac's manager has history with Lovejoy and the two don't get along. So the tension that followed wasn't random. It was a clash waiting to happen the moment Lovejoy walked through the door. From what's being said, they've since squashed it. And for those who don't know, Lovejoy is also connected to the whole Big U and Wack 100 situation from before. Either way, it is what it is. Now, let's talk about Fat Joe, because something he said recently really rubbed me the wrong way. He was telling a story about going through TSA and apparently felt like he was being spoken to disrespectfully. His response? "You don't talk to me like that. You make $20 an hour." That one line says everything you need to know about how this man sees people. TSA agents are just doing their job. They're not celebrities, they're not public figures, they're regular people showing up to work every day. And the moment someone uses their salary as an insult, that tells you exactly how they view the world, like their fame puts them above everyone else in the room. You can beef with artists, you can go back and forth with celebrities, that's fair game. But talking down to everyday working people because you think your status gives you the right, that's a different kind of character flaw. How someone treats regular people, not their peers, not their fans, just ordinary people with no power in the moment, that's the truest measure of who they actually are. Fat Joe, just go through security, bro. That was weird.